Okay, picture this. You're scrolling on the Steam Workshop for Portal 2 and you stumble across a map that just makes you go like, God damn!
Congratulations! The simple fact that you're standing here listening to me means you've made a glorious contribution to science.
Okay, hello everyone. I know this video or just this series in general might be a bit different to what I usually do on this channel, but I thought, I changed things up for once. Especially since I'm starting to get into the Portal 2 modding community. I think it's just crazy, especially what the Portal 2 Community Edition team have done with the Source engine. It's genuinely crazy what they've done with all the PBR, new lighting, basically just modernizing the entire Portal 2 Source engine, which is just crazy. Massive shout out to them. Obviously, this tutorial wouldn't exist without them, and obviously, this is going to be a very short first episode. We're just going over the basics. I'll put a list of what we're doing in this episode specifically on screen, just so you know what we're getting into. I might add chapters and all that, but the first step to actually doing everything is getting the SDK, because I know obviously you need Portal 2 and Portal 2 Community Edition. When you click play on Portal 2 Community Edition, you get greeted with these two options. The launch engine tools is something completely different. All we're doing is making maps in this tutorial, and we just want hammer. So what we need to do is, it doesn't really appear in your list here. What we need to do is search up in your Steam library the word SDK, and then you, obviously I already have it downloaded, you'll see it in your list here. It literally just says Portal 2 Community Edition SDK. Just download that. Takes less than a second. It's like 0 bytes when I download it, and then all we want to do is just hit launch and make sure you select this first one, Play Portal 2 Community Edition SDK, and then that gives us this. And right here you can see the Strata Source version of Hammer, basically. Okay, now that we're actually in the Hammer editor, you're going to be greeted, with all this stuff. It looks very old, and that's because it is GUI wise, but everything else, Strata Source updated all of it, fixed a bunch of bugs, so we don't need to worry about that. But I'm just gonna quickly go through some settings you'll probably want to tweak just to make this a bit easier to look at, or just navigate it better, basically. So first, what we want to do is we want to go to options, and see right here we grid this nice little screen. Under general, you can enable this if you want to. Just enable autosaves. It will save you a lot of time in the future. Just in, if your power goes out, something somehow happens, this can save you a lot of time. So I would enable it, and obviously just set an autosave directory. And then next we want to go to 2D views over here. We just want to enable a couple things. We want to enable default to 15-degree rotations, automatic infinite selection in 2D windows, and reorient primitives on creation in active 2D view. And the last one is arrow keys nudge the selected object / vertex. Just kind of helps you put things around your map just more precisely. And next we want to go to 3D views right here, and I'll just leave this on screen for a couple of seconds just so you can copy the settings. Again, this is entirely optional. It's just better quality of life in my opinion. Okay, now that we're done, we can literally hit OK. And I think we can just now press new. Look at that. We get this little like window inside of it. And also another thing you might want to do is just click view at the top here, hover your mouse over screen elements and just deselect the manifest bar. We're never going to use it anyway. But basically this is actually the game window, and to full screen it, you just click the full screen button right there. It might look a little old, and if you want to like center, like let's just say all these windows are like mixed up, just press Control A and then it centers everything nicely. Okay, so literally all we want to do next is download all the instances that we're going to need later on in the future for Hammer when we're actually making proper test chambers. And Portal 2 Community Edition does this a bit differently because in the base authoring tools, you just kind of get them by default. They're in the game directory, but they're kind of a separate thing that you have to download with the Community Edition, which I'm not complaining because they've like changed all the instances, which are basically like these prefabs for you to use, like just put in your level. Yeah, I'm not complaining because they've just changed all the code to just make it so much more simple and just like better in general, basically. So you just want to head on over to your browser, and I'll have the GitHub repo linked in the description, but you just want to go to this link right here. You want to go github.com/stratasource/p2ce-instances, and you're just going to have this really long list of things. Don't worry. All you need to do is click on this green code button and then download as a zip file. We'll just chuck that into our downloads for now, and we just want to extract the folder. And then in this folder right here, should have read the license, but we don't need it. We can just delete these three files: the readme, the license, and the gignore. Like I said again, you need to read the license. We just delete this, and these are all the files we need. So, like I just did, we just need to copy all these files that are in the folder. And you want to go back to Steam, and where your SDK, wherever it's downloaded to, you just want to search it up in Steam. Click the cog icon, hover over manage, and then click browse local files, and that will take you to like here. And then we want to go under SDK content, maps, instances, and obviously I already have everything in here, but those files that we selected earlier, you can literally just copy and paste them into here, and that's all we need to do. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention is that this is entirely optional again. If you want to utilize the like PBR textures that Strata Source can actually now do, you need to head over to add-ons here. You can open the Steam Workshop from this button, and you should have the Portal 1 PBR materials downloaded by default. But if you want the Portal 2 ones, you either get these two packs. This one is the Portal 2 PBR Asset Pack by Rip, if I'm saying that right. And then this is the Everything PBR Pack by Lenship 2. So you just, download those two, and then you want to go back into Hammer. And once we're back in Hammer, you just want to click Window, and then you should see it Add-on Manager right here. Just click on that, and then just tick, the add-ons that you want to enable or use in Source. So obviously it's going to be the Portal 1 and Portal 2 PBR textures. So you just click that, and then you can literally close out of that. And I'd suggest just reloading Hammer just in case it doesn't see the textures for whatever reason. Okay, so it's the time that you've all been waiting for. It's like time to actually start making a map. Just one small thing before we start making anything. We have to understand these four viewports that we have right here. Basically we have the camera, the top, the side, and the front. Uh, Easiest one is the camera. Obviously, I don't have anything in the scene right now, but if you do hover your mouse over this little thing and press Z, you get this kind of like first person kind of perspective of your entire scene or world. And that's just kind of like any other game engine where you can use WASD to move around and actually view it in real time. And then you have these three other viewports right here. You have the top, the side, and the front. And these are all the sides like in correlation to the world. So this is like I was looking down from the top of the world, I was looking at the side of the world, and I was looking at the front of the world. And these three viewports is like they're the viewports you use to actually place entities and brushes onto the level or test chamber. Okay, let's get to it, shall we? So to actually start making like objects and brushes in the world, we want to first give it a texture. So we want to hit browse on the right like sidebar here, and you can search for any texture in the game. You can use like tiles, the portable surfaces, anything. If you got the PBR textures from earlier, you can use those as well just by searching PBR. But for now, I'm just going to stick to this basic material. And then you want to hover your mouse over this little icon here. It should say block tool, or you can press Shift B to use it. You want to click on that. Then in your top viewpoint here, we can just drag out a shape like that. You see that? A square. So I'm just going to make a simple square. And here, there we go. We can press Z on the camera viewport here, and we can move around with WASD. And you'll see the outline of the thing you're making. To actually like construct it in the world, you just hit enter, and there you go. There. We have a simple floor just like that. And if you click the selection tool, you'll see it in each of these viewports here. Now, the simplest way to just make a box like kind of room is in your side or front viewport here. You just want to like scale the brush upwards, basically, to just like lengthen it out, and then we have a bigger room. And then if we go over to tools, and it should be, here we go, make hollow, and we want to set to -64 just because we want to hollow it out so we have space on the inside. We just hit so we put in -64, hit OK, and then you'll see this all changes. But if we go inside now, we have a simple little box that we can put all our stuff in. Okay, so next we'll be going over the entity tool, which is very simple. It's literally just above the block tool right here, this little icon. You can press Shift E as well. You just want to click that, and just as long as you have a brush, you can click anywhere to put the entity. It will default to this player info player start, which is basically the spawn point. And yeah, he's going to look like a really deep fried Gordon Freeman, but that's absolutely fine. Also, I'll teach you how to rotate things, because our player will spawn in like at the same rotation as this guy here. So if we go to like, well, whatever axes you want to rotate in, I just want to rotate it like from the top perspective, kind of. So we have our guy here, we can see in the top viewpoint. Instead of scaling it, we just want to click, and you see, like, click in the middle, and you see these little dots on the edges, and that should have like changed. And then you can literally just drag, hold, and you can rotate it. And if like your rotation isn't snapping to the grid, then that setting from earlier with the let's have a look, options here in 2D views, default to 15-degree rotations. Make sure you have that enabled. Okay, so I've just made this like little box inside of our room here. And I'm going to show you how to duplicate brushes. So literally all you want to do is hold down Shift, hover your mouse over the object you want to duplicate, and then you literally just drag the object, and then you'll see how I have that little outline. That's like the original brush, and then the new one is obviously the one that we're moving around right now. We just let go of clicking. There we go. We've duplicated a brush, and I was literally just going to show you how we can make some like portable surfaces, because obviously you're making a Portal 2 map. So what we want to do is hit browse right here, and we can just search up any, if you obviously you played Portal 2 Portal before, we want to use any like kind of white surface that's portable, that has all the logic baked in. You don't need to do any sort of programming with that. I'll just choose this one. There you go, I have it selected. And now we have two buttons right here. This one is toggle texture application, and the other one is apply current texture. Apply current texture does what it says, but it does it to the entire like brush. So if I hit that, you see the entire thing changed. I just hit Control Z to undo what I did. And then if we go to the other tool here, the toggle texture application gives us this little thing. But we have a little like fill bucket on our mouse now. And if we just right click on the surface that we want to actually change the texture of, it should, oh, maybe it would help if I change the texture I was using. There we go. Right click, and there we go. Boom. It just changes the texture on that exact face only. So I'll just do the same thing again. Toggle texture. Let's get that tile texture, and then we'll track it on there. And now you have two portable surfaces. Okay, so just to kind of finish this tutorial up now, we have to put an actual portal gun in our world. So we have to go back to the entity tool. I just click right in front of our spawn point. Don't worry if it's exactly the same, because we can either, on the new entity that we created, we can either double click to get this screen, or we can just press Alt and Enter, and then we get the same screen. And like I said earlier, entities will always default to this spawn point thing. But under class right here, you can change it to like anything in the game basically. And I think Stratosource has compatibility with like Half-Life 2 and everything, so you can basically set the entity to anything. In this case, we're going to set it to weapon underscore portal gun, and then this will basically set the entity to a portal gun weapon. And then you see the model just changed right there. Now you can, when the player loads into the game, they have to walk over the portal gun to actually collect it. So you can either leave it right in front of the player to pick it up, or you can go into your little viewports here, and you can move the portal gun just underneath the spawn point's feet, and that way when you actually like run your map, you'll just spawn in with the portal gun. Okay, now that we have this simple little level bit up, basically, we just want to hit File right here. We're going to hit Run Map, and just make sure the settings here are just the same as mine. Everything's on normal. And basically what this does is it compiles and then it runs the map in Portal 2 Community Edition. But this is a bug with Hammer, if I'm correct, which if you just have it like this and you press OK, all it does is compile the map and then nothing else. You have to just hit the button Expert right there, and it just changes it to this. You don't need to change anything here, but when you click Go, it compiles and then it actually runs the map. So we just click Go, and then let's see if this works. There we go, we got the game loading. And it would probably be helpful. I had the portal gun. There we go. So my portal gun looks a little different just because of the PBR textures I mentioned earlier. But there we go. We have our first Portal 2 Community Edition map, and obviously these surfaces work as normal. We can hop through them. Now we can't portal on these surfaces, obviously. But there you go. I hope this was a good introduction to Hammer, or the Strata version of it anyway. And we'll be going over some more complex things in the next episode, so stay tuned for that.
I'm the man who's gonna burn your house down with the lemons. I'm gonna get my engineers to invent a combustible lemon that burns your house down.